Welcome to Global Media Stocks to Watch. I'm Michael Swido. I'm speaking today with Elmer Stewart. He's the chairman and CEO of Copper Fox Metals. Elmer, welcome back to the show. Great to see you again.
Well, it's good to be here.
Your company recently closed a private placement in which it raised more than 1 million Canadian dollars. About 2/3 of this new investment comes from corporate insiders. That's something the markets often applaud. They like to see a company's founders and management put their money where their mouth is, so to speak. Elmer, I'm curious though, why are insiders so optimistic? What is it about your company's business that is leading them to up the ante and reinvest?
In 2009, there was a complete change in management and board of directors of the company. And since that point in time, the insiders have always financed approximately 60 or 70 or 80% of the placements. Why? Because we had a business plan and we started with a great project, which was our Shaft Creek project. And the idea is we had a plan. We went to work. We wanted to build the company out, which we did. It took us a while to do it. Hard to do because good projects don't just come along. And so the idea is over time, we built a portfolio of projects in tier one mining jurisdictions in North America and 2 advanced stage projects. Look at the metal balance we have on our balance sheet right now. You look at the resource statements we have. Look at the after-tax valuation we've built up in the company in a few short years. And so we have been very successful. We have added a lot of value, and clearly the insiders like that strategy. We think we're adding considerable value, and we are going to continue to build out on our strategy. So that's why I believe the insiders, although I can't speak for them specifically, why they like to they support this company.
Fantastic. So that's the insiders. What can you tell us about the people from outside Copper Fox Metals that have participated in this round of financing?
You look at the metal balance and you look at the values, the after-tax value based on independent valuations. Look at the portfolio we have: 2 advanced stage projects, 3 exploration stage projects, 3 projects at the resource stage. We've got an after-tax valuation based on a per share basis of around $2 Canadian a share. And so, that's positive. Those are real positive results in a very short period of time. And if you look at it, if we are focused specifically in the copper space, although the other metals we have with our deposits are also critical metals. So if you're looking for an exposure to critical metals, you can look at Copper Fox and you can look at the advanced stage projects, which have demonstrated value in resources, or some investors like exploration stage discoveries. And we can offer that to you as well. So maybe those are some of the reasons why the non-insiders participated in the placement. And I can also say that all these people who participated are Copper Fox shareholders. Some of them have been Copper Fox shareholders for a long time.
And I understand the share placement was oversubscribed and you had to close it out after a short period of time. Is that right?
That is correct. Yes, there was a lot of excitement. I wouldn't say excitement, but there was a lot of requests for participation. Unfortunately, I had the unenviable job of having to go in and cut back people for their subscriptions. And what I tried to do is protect the small guy, the small shareholder who wanted to continue to reinforce his position in the company. And so I left those guys alone, but all the rest of us all took, I think it was about a 50% cut across the board.
It's a good problem to have. I think it's also worth noting that the placement is a mix of stock and warrants, and the exercise price on the warrants rises to 32 cents a share next year. That's about 30% above the stock's current share price. All right, let's take a step back. You mentioned you all have 5 copper projects. They're all in North America, 3 in British Columbia, 2, I believe, in the U.S. state of Arizona. 3 of these projects are in the exploration stage, 2 are more advanced. Now, the proceeds from this placement are being used to further exploration. What can you tell us about that? Just how are you deploying the funds?
Over the next quarter, we are going to be carrying out very specific work on our Van Dyke project, on our Mineral Mountain project, which is more permitting, clearly some field work at Sombrero Butte, and we want to continue work on our Eagle Head project. And that's what the plans will be over the next quarter. The funds were also used to make the final placement on a project which we acquired in 2021 called Eagle Head. And last year, what we did, we actually did a resource statement on that, on the Eagle Head project. Not only were we successful in meeting the threshold of qualifying as a resource statement, but it also significantly increased our metal balances. But more importantly, the Eagle Head project met the threshold of achieving a resource statement, and I can assure you they're not easy to reach. The independent people who do the work are very hard on it, and there are a number of different thresholds you've got to meet to get that resource statement on your property. So very pleased with that, and that's what the funds will be used for over the next quarter.
So if we look ahead, how many months of exploration do you think this newly raised capital will cover?
That's hard to say. I mean, we do have some plans in place right now, and some work is ongoing. And the way we usually operate, we call it a stage gate approach. We look at what we think we need to do next from an exploration standpoint or a further investigative study standpoint, and we go ahead and we do that. Then we take those results back, and then we look at the results and say, okay, are we ready to move this project to the next stage? And if not, what other additional work do we need to do to advance this project to the next stage? Alternatively, and most people probably won't want to hear this, but if those results are not what we're looking for, and they indicate that we have fully evaluated or fully assessed the potential of the property, we then have to make a decision to turn around and walk away from the property. So far, and all the time I've been in Copper Fox, we have never had to face that, but that is one of the realities in our business.
It sounds like a very measured approach, so that's really great. If we look at a couple of your projects, I understand you've recently released results from a geotechnical investigation. That's at the Van Dyke property in Arizona. And there was a sampling program at the Mineral Mountain site, also in Arizona. What's the latest?
Van Dyke, the results of the geotechnical work were, in my opinion, very positive. Why? Because the database we have right now meets the threshold for entering into a pre-feasibility study, which is where we're trying to take the Van Dyke project. And that is a very important step. And it's important for several reasons. One, it provided a new methodology for us to be able to drive the decline to access the mineral deposit at the Van Dyke mineral deposit. Because our plan is to put a decline in the Gila conglomerate, stay above the Pinal schist, put in all the underground well fields, injection wells, and recovery wells underground. So it's the safest, most environmentally friendly, the least amount of impact on the environment. And the reason that is important for us is that we think we can drive the decline faster, that we're going to use a different method to drive the decline. It'll maintain the structural integrity of the Gila conglomerate, because that's important. Because one of the big things that we do when we work in the industry, we're always trying to provide the safest possible environment for people who would be working around any of our facilities. And the other thing is typically most underground development is done by drill and blast. We won't be using drill and blast. We're going to be using a road header, no drill and blast. And the key about that is that when you drill and blast, you create gases. We won't be creating any gases, so there'll be no gases expelled into the environment. That's the good thing about the Van Dyke project, the technical work at Van Dyke. We also think it'll probably cost less to drive the decline based on our original estimates that was in the preliminary economic assessment that was completed in 2020. Now, going to Mineral Mountain, we did some more work at Mineral Mountain. Once again, it came, our interpretation, we were able to prove that up because we found the rocks on the ground. We found the alteration on the ground. Importantly, though, we're actually starting to find a style of molybdenum mineralization with a very significant rhenium concentration. Rhenium occurs in some molybdenite mineralization, but not all. And if it's in a specific enough concentration, then that could be what we call a byproduct credit should the project ever go into production. And so where we're at now at Mineral Mountain, we're working with the BLM and our contractor in Arizona to get a permit to drill the Mineral Mountain target. We think it's a fairly exciting exploration play. It's very big. It's a buried style mineralization, much like Resolution to the northeast of us. We've identified 4 drill hole locations, and now we're going through a NEPA process in the United States directed by the BLM. And we have to demonstrate that we are not, We have to study the archaeological, the cultural, the biological aspects of the project. And hopefully by the end of the year, the BLM will see our way and grant us a permit to execute on the drilling program.
The BLM, that's the Bureau of Land Management in the United States. And what I'm taking away from what you said is that Van Dyke, you found an environmentally friendly way to do the mining that doesn't release gas. You're doing it at less than cost. So those are a couple of big takeaways there. And at Mineral Mountain, you're moving ahead with all of the things you need to do to be able to drill. Is that fair to say?
That's a very, very quick assessment of what we've done, yes.
All right, well, let's take a look at the investment side of the equation now. Shares of your company are doing better than a lot of other mineral exploration companies. They're up about 20% over the past 3 months, and that same percentage since the beginning of the year. They are trading well off their peak, though. That was a brief peak that was set in May. So tell us, why is now a good time to invest in your company? Why is it a stock to watch?
Personally speaking, I think it's an easy investment. First and foremost, if you look at the company, look at our projects located in Tier 1 jurisdictions. Take a look at the amount of resources we have in the books. Take a look at our metal balance we have. If you look at the after-tax discounted value on 2 of our projects, that's the $680 million US, or $2 a share Canadian. Currently, we're trading at 25 cents a share. I see that as a big valuation. And the other thing, but more important, I think from Copper Fox's perspective, if you look at the macro scale, you're now, everybody's forecasting a significant increase in copper demand. They're asking that of an industry that's already facing some very severe structural headwinds about being able to provide the amount of copper that people are forecasting we need. And Copper Fox, and we're only in the copper space, we are one of those companies that have the right type of project that are at the advanced stage that could be of interest to a company, a producer. And secondly, if you look at the need for the big copper producers to replenish their portfolio of exploration and advanced stage projects, then Copper Fox would fit into that because we are, we have advanced stage projects. We have projects with resources in the ground, which are important and a good start for people or companies who are producing or wanting to replenish their supply of exploration and development stage projects. And recently, there's been a few transactions out there, and I think that that trend of mergers and acquisitions is on the way. And I just think it's going to get more robust as time goes on here in the near future.
All right, well, that does sound promising. I mean, as you point out, your stock currently around 25 cents. You're saying fair value is probably 8 times that much at $2 a share. And then, of course, there is that atmosphere, that potential for mergers and acquisitions for a bigger company to come in when there is a promising advanced stage project. So, Elmer, thank you so much for walking us through that. Really, really great to chat with you.
Great. Thank you very much.
We've been speaking to the head of Copper Fox Metals, Elmer Stewart, and you've been watching Global One Media Stocks to Watch. I'm Michael Sweatit.